Firstly, I want to say that Adobe last year posted a net profit of almost $1 billion. So this is not a company short of a few pennies. At first glance, when you look at Adobe Creative Cloud, it looks like an amazing deal, and there are certainly some tempting offers. But when you delve a bit deeper, there are also some issues that you should be very worried about, some issues you should be very scared about. With Adobe Creative Cloud, we go from the situation of owning the software to renting it, and that is absolutely huge, and let me explain why. Prior to Adobe Creative Cloud, I always had the peace of mind that I own the software, I had the license, and if in 1 or 2 years, if I moved over to another piece of software, that I always had Adobe there, so if I needed to go back to an old project and edit something, that I could go back and do that. With Adobe Creative Cloud, once you cancel your subscription, you can't do that. You can't go back and edit those old projects. So that, for me, severely affects my workflow and it affects my business. One of the things that worries me is that whilst now all the programs in the Adobe Master Suite are available for $49.99 a month, when Adobe realizes what their most popular programs are, you can be guaranteed that they're going to be moving them into a new tier called Creative Cloud Pro or something like that, and you'll be guaranteed that the users will have to pay more money to get access to those programs. So again, in the long term, not good for the user base. One of the arguments I've seen going around the web is with a subscription-based service that Adobe will finally be able to get rid of piracy, and to me that's completely insane. It's a bit like saying Netflix has got rid of pirated movies. It's just not true. Now let's talk about price. Prior to Adobe Creative Cloud, I used to update my software every 2 years for between $400 to $600. Now I'm being forced to pay $49 a month, which comes out to $600 a year, which every 2 years is $1,200. So for me, that's a tripling in price. And like the country I'm in, I know that there's many parts of the world that are still in economical downturns. So this is a huge increase in price for a small business owner, and really to me it's not acceptable. Adobe has also demonstrated that it will price its software as it sees fit. What now costs you $600 a year in 2 or 3 years' time will probably cost you $1,000. And if you think I'm talking rubbish about this, then you only need to look at Adobe in Australia, where Adobe was actually charging its user base twice that of the United States. And it wasn't until the Australian government stepped in that Adobe lowered the price of its software to now virtually matching that of the United States, which to me is appalling. Adobe's pricing around the world is very, very strange to say the least. In the United States, users pay $49.99 a month. Across the pond in the United Kingdom, users are going to be forced to pay $72 a month, and in Germany, $80 a month. However, in the only country where the government stepped in and questioned the pricing, Australia, the price of its software seems to be rather close to the US price at $51 a month. Very strange. One thing to bear in mind is that Adobe Creative Cloud is not available in every market. In the market I'm in, for instance, I have to pay for a team license, which again is an additional cost. This might not seem a biggie, but it is, especially for a lot of the poor, impoverished countries around the world where they're already struggling to buy the software legitimately. And I think personally that it's actually tantamount to creative discrimination. You have legitimate users who are buying the software to use for legitimate purposes, who are struggling to pay for the software, and then Adobe come across and double and in some cases triple the price of their software. So not really a good move there, Adobe. One of the arguments that I've seen out on the internet is that we should just shut up and accept that subscription-based software is the future. It's no different from paying your internet bill, so just shut up and accept it. There is, however, a major difference, and that is with your internet bill is if you don't like the way your internet service provider is treating you, you can swap providers. You can move to Verizon or whoever your choice is. With Adobe, there is really no choice. If you don't like what Adobe is doing, then who are you going to go to? There's really only one Photoshop. So again, another negative. Now, I could discuss this subject for quite a long time, but I'm going to shut up and I'm going to let you speak. So please feel free to respond. Put a comment in the box below or send me a response video. And also, don't be afraid to go on Adobe's website, go to the forums and let Adobe know how you feel, because I know I'm upset about this and I'm sure you are too. And one more thing before I go. I open with this and I'm going to close with this, and that is to remind you that Adobe posted almost $1 billion net profit last year. So this is just another drive by Adobe to increase its revenue. And come on, I understand that people and companies have to make profit, but there's a level where you start to proverbially take the piss. So come on, Adobe, let's talk about this.